What's good? I want to welcome y'all to School of Fabco 806. I'm Alan. I am sitting here working on this 58 Ford F100. I made one of the last videos. I made a piece of square tube and I cut it out so I can install my cooler, engine cooler, and my transmission cooler. So I'm going to work on that right now. We'll just get straight to it. I'll show y'all what I'm doing. So with my piece of square tubing that was sitting inside of my radiator support brackets, I marked my hose where the transmission cooler goes, transmission oil cooler, and the oil cooler, engine oil cooler. And I marked these. That's what these marks are for. So now real quick I'll measure. Of course it's 1 inch. I'll mark it at half, a dot at half there, another dot at half there. Make your little center mark. Oh, it's not gonna reach. I mean, you could easily guess where center is, but just to be, some people like to see the science. And it kind of looks like it goes down a little bit, so I'm just going to use my best judgment. Mark one there. Mark one there. Mark one there. Let me get my drill bits. Alright, here I have 1/8 drill bit. I will drill my holes. Didn't work. We'll try it again. There we go. And let's do this the third time. Okay. So now, using my digital caliper, check the size of my drill bit, which is a 1/4 my tap that I'm going to use. And since someone stole my batteries, I'm just going to do the centimeters. It's about 6 centimeters. And then I get a drill bit a little bit smaller. I measure it, and it's about a little bit over 4 centimeters. So we'll try it. I may do a test run just to see, make sure it's not too loose. I do want it to be pretty strong. It's 1/4 to put a nice washer on there. Let me see. Let me play with this for a minute, real quick. We're just gonna go for it. do one and try it, and this will be my test run, and it'll let me know whether it works or not. Ooh! Felt a little easy. But it was pretty solid to me. I'm going for it. Real quick, some of you may have been asking, why am I using a drill to tap out hose? Well, really honestly, I do recommend you use the tool, but this summer will be 26 years doing this, and you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But today, it looks like it's gonna work. All right, so now that we know it's gonna fit, let's go see. There we go. Oops, almost fell. Okay, you can see back there, it's held. And there it is. My coolers are connected and ready to cool. So, kind of hard to see, but. All right, well, for starters, we are not gonna play that video, but I'm in the cab, I made it. I'm gonna come in here, weld everywhere I can reach from the outside. So now that I'm in here, I'm gonna take advantage and weld everything in here that I missed. So here we go. Step 1 and 2. So now, all the bracing that I've added in there, we've now completely welded inside and out. So next, I'll pick up another piece of square tubing, use that as my rocker. Once I secure those, should be pretty strong, will be pretty strong. I'll cut these welds off, pop this door open, and we'll start doing some sheet metal work and attaching our floor to the 58 F100. Yes, it's gonna be great. All right, next step. Well, the next step really should be rockers. We need to knock these rockers out, get some metal in there. I don't have enough square tubing, so looks like we're gonna have to go to the backyard, AKA scrapyard, see if we can find something we can use. If not, I guess to the metal yard it is to go buy whatever we need. So, but I'm gonna look first, because if we can go without, you know, starting to spend money on it, it'd be great. So I'm gonna start closing up some of these big holes I have in the firewall. You see that I saved these pieces because this is where my computer sensors all wired up to this, went to my dash, my AC, all that jazz. So we're gonna put it back in. I'm just gonna move it from where it was. I'm gonna move it here. You can see where I cut it out right here. Somehow this is in the way. So I'm just gonna put it straight up. So what I might do is use this as a template and go ahead and cut me out another piece. That way I can go ahead and fold it down here. I'll cut this straight and I'll fold it in here so I can start spot welding it to the inside of my A pillar and to my firewall, and that'll be the beginning of covering our gaps. Once we get the rockers in, though, we'll be able to cover all the gaps, but the rockers kind of the main thing. So we can start up high because we know we're gonna have to do this, and we'll just see how far it takes us. Good with you? Good with me. Okay, so this is just kind of a rough thing that I cut out. It's 10.5 inches tall, 5 inches on top, 7 inches on bottom, and now I have marked it at 1 inch right here at the top. So I'm going to put a couple of dots. One at the very top and one at the very bottom. Then I'm going to go ahead and mark it. And then now let me set up my little tool real quick. Okay, so the piece, here's where I marked it. I went up there and checked it out. The deal is that I need to fold it the opposite direction. So marked it 1 inch on the inside and drew my line. Now, here's my elaborate setup for a brake, but this is all I've got. This is a Harbor Freight. I'm not saying go out and get you one. It works. You can make one also, which works, but I'm just going to use this one because I have it already. Get your line all lined up, hold it down with your little clamps. You notice I preset them, and then just fold up. So now I've got my bend on my template. Now let's try it on our thing. Okay, so now that I have my bend, I know that I want this to go in, and by setting it right here, I see that some of it is going to go in exactly how we want it, because we want our bend to be right at this edge that gives us 1 inch inside that we can spot weld. So far I'm liking it. Let me mark it down here at the bend so I'll know that I'll have to fold it. Actually, you know what? I might trim this floor. I might trim this floor some right here, so this can be a flat piece and I won't have to go over that hump. Once I slice that there, and then I could just put this over it and fold it over and be able to lap it and get more of a weld. And plus also, the flatter I get that, I'll be able to get more of my lip inside of here that I need to weld to the inside of my A-pillar. So yeah, I'm gonna whack that a little bit there, get this piece to fit real nice. I'll trim, bend, cut, whatever I need to do to this piece once I've got it sitting where I want, and then I'll transfer it to metal. So let me cut on this a little more. All right, timeout, timeout. I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. I only started the firewall because I didn't have any material for the rockers. So as we walked through the, backyard, scrapyard, whatever you want to call it, we went for lunch and I found these. What are these? Let me tell you what these are. These are called crash bars. We call them crash bars. When I did collision, these are inside of every single door. All new cars have them. And this is what's supposed to take all the impact. That way the door doesn't just come in and, smash you up. These impact bars, smash bars, whatever you want to call it, just tubing. I found them, so I didn't use that one. We got these. We set them in this little T, clamped them down, welded them, and now I've already got them marked down. So I'm about to go cut them, test fit them, and hopefully I'll be welding these things in about 5 minutes. All right, here we are at the chop saw again. My little mighty friend over here. So this is for the left side, the driver's side, and we've got it at 45 and 7/8. So here we go. So remember, the biggest thing to remember about cutting these is keep in mind how much that cuts off. That way you don't ever cut it too short. There it is. Alright. So this is what the inside of my rocker is going to look like. And then it'll come down, and of course it'll be all covered here. And I'll figure out what to do with this one, keep it or not. I may not need it anymore now that I've added all this other bracelet to it. So I'm going to double check to make sure that the top of the floor is flush to this. That way all I have to do is just add a strip right here and I'll be attached. And this will be welded to my A and B pillar and the rear of the cab also. So to make sure that it's on there pretty good. So yeah, that's the next thing. Let's go up there and make sure it's flush all the way, looks good. If it does, then tack the other side and then come back down here and start getting it welded up.